Hello and welcome everyone to the 2020 Almond Conference. Like you, I wish we could be together in person, but we're going to make the best of this and we'll enjoy ourselves today. Today is a special day as TOMRA is officially announcing the release of our all-new revolutionary sorting platform, the TOMRA 5C. This is a product of years of hard work involving hundreds of engineers, countless man-hours, and I can't believe they let me be the one to show it off for the first time. My name is Brendan O'Donnell. I am the Global Category Director of Nuts here at TOMRA Food, and today I will take you for a virtual tour of this brand new machine, highlighting some of the most critical features that will help almond processors improve efficiencies, yields, reduce costs, boost margin, all while increasing quality and providing a new level of food safety. Before we begin, I'll give a statement regarding COVID. COVID-19 has created an incredibly challenging time for everyone, and TOMRA is no exception. We offer our thoughts and prayers to everyone who's been impacted by this pandemic. TOMRA continues to work very hard in these new normal conditions, and we recognize that processors around the world need our support today more than ever before. We are here to help you, and we thank you for your continued support. Our agenda today is really all about the TOMRA 5C. I'll give a very brief company introduction for those who may not be familiar with TOMRA, but I'll save the majority of our time to go through the new features of this incredible machine. So TOMRA is the largest optical sorting company in the world. We have more than 4,500 employees and roughly $1 billion in revenue. Our business is split into two main categories. You have collections and you have sorting. Collections is how TOMRA began in the 60s in Norway. This is when you have an empty bottle or can and you put it in the machine and it kicks out your 5 or 10 cents that you can spend in the store. You're probably all much more familiar with the sorting side of our business, where we have recycling, food, and mining. In this case, of course, we'll be talking about food. Here at TOMRA Food, we have over 1,400 employees. We have 32 offices globally, and we are local on a global scale. What I mean by that is that yes, we're the largest optical sorting company in the world, but we also have offices and support staff in all nut producing and processing areas of the world. Since we're at the Almond Conference, I'll highlight our offices here in Sacramento, the hub for the entire Americas, as well as our offices in Spain and Australia. With support staff, service engineers in all production zones, this has been incredibly important, but COVID has highlighted this even further. Many customers have needed maintenance, PMs, service, adjustments, and even with all these global challenges around travel restrictions, we have still been able to support our customers with local staff and keep you running. We have continued to grow our field service engineering team, with field service engineers growing from 95 in 2017 to over 165 today. So that means no matter where you are in the world, we have somebody nearby that can support you. And finally, just a small piece about what makes us tick. We have responsibility, innovation, and passion. Responsibility to us means operating with ethics and integrity, which is why we support initiatives like INC's Save the Children campaign with Nuts for a Healthier World, which has sent tens of thousands of nutritional treatment to children in need in Mauritania, South Sudan, and Bangladesh. Innovation defines us. We have in-house development of sensors, software, and IP to allow innovation to expand beyond our 400 engineers contributing to R&D. We partner to solve the issues of our industry by working closely with our customers, partnering with leading R&D institutions and universities. Further, our expertise in sorting technologies, from mining to recycling to food, allow us to share ideas and innovate across these platforms. Of course, TOMRA has a passion to make the world a better place. Through TOMRA's Circular Economy Group, we are collaborating with the X-Expedition, which is a series of all-female scientists sailing voyages, leading exploration into the impact of plastic and toxic pollution in our oceans. I want to mention our focus because I think it's important that you know that we are focusing on the things that are driving your business and the things that are driving your business crazy. We know that labor is one of your highest costs. It's volatile, it's inconsistent, it's hard to find, people get sick, they get tired. All of this was highlighted this year more than usual. Food safety is constantly adding tougher standards. We build our machines with hygienic seals around optical boxes, no flat surfaces for water or dust to collect. Our machines are easy to pull apart, get inside, reach product surfaces for cleaning, meeting SQF BRC or any other GFSI accredited food safety program. Quality demands are always getting tougher. Low FM used to be 20 parts, then 10 parts, then 5 parts. Someday there will be a zero tolerance for foreign material, and TOMRA can help you get there. For operational efficiency, we have to recover everything, You cannot afford to throw away or lose good product in the garbage bins, and TOMRA can help you do that. Storage is critical. There are more and more almonds being produced. We need to get them stored. We need to get them shipped to our customers faster, run them faster, pull out defects faster, get the garbage off the property faster, and free up bin space for your products. And removing guesswork. This is where TOMRA Insight will really shine. We need more data. We've heard you tell us 1,000 times. We need more data. We need to know, what are the machines seeing? What defects are they seeing? What is the quality coming in? How fast are they running? What are our operators doing in the middle of the night? TOMRA Insight helps provide an answer to all of this. And now, without any further delays, I'd like to introduce to you the TOMRA 5C. TOMRA Exceed is the platform of the future. It's an all-digital platform capable of over-the-air upgrades as new technology develops. It's the machine we call future-proof. We have jumped into the next generation of laser and BSI Plus systems, and I'll give you more details on that later. We have roughly doubled the capacity of the Nimbus for almond kernels, matching or exceeding anything on the market today. A newly designed ejection manifold with smart ejection, and I'll tell you more about that later. The hygienic design eliminates flat surfaces and includes hygienic seals around optical boxes. Sliding reject manifold allows you to literally step inside the machine to clean contact surfaces in less than half the time compared to previous machines. And we have included an onboard nitrogen generator to eliminate the need to pump in nitrogen or of nitrogen tanks at all. TOMRA Act is our award-winning user interface, incredibly intuitive and easy to use. TOMRA Insight capabilities are one of the most exciting features. This is the answer to all of your demands for more data. The ultimate in optical flexibility, we can include anywhere from 1 to 4 sensors depending on what you need. There are multiple laser packages depending on what you need. Do you need embedded shell? Do you need color? Do you need glass? Do you need all of the above? This allows you to use the right tool for the right job. Having options in optics gives you the ultimate in flexibility to target the defects you want to target and do it as efficiently as possible. Now, how do we create more contrast? Well, with a laser, we have increased the number of laser channels available. We have increased the resolution from 2K to 4K. We have adopted similar technology as BSI Plus, where we combine multiple channels together to create a digital fingerprint. We call it our multivariate classifier, MVC. And new color laser packages allow us to see color like never before. This is incredibly important for you walnut guys out there. Now on BSI Plus, we are covering an incredibly wide range of wavelengths and combining 32 channels together at the same time, including both visible and near-infrared channels together, which is unique in our industry. This technology allows us to draw distinctions between what is good product and bad product like nothing else. This is especially important when we look at defects that are approximately the same size, shape, and color as a good or versus a bad product. As always, the BSI Plus can detect slight variances in moisture and oil content, which allows it to see things like pinhole damage that are even hard for human eyes to see. If you could solve all the problems by taking a single measurement on a system, the world, especially the sorting world, would be a much simpler place. But complex systems require multiple measurements to better understand them. MVC is based on this investigation of multiple wavelengths put together simultaneously and understanding the relationship between them. So what is this multivariate classification? It's the way TOMRA 5C combines the signals to create a digital fingerprint. MVC is a combination of multiple advanced learning techniques in the artificial intelligence domain. It utilizes multispectral response information from sensors, just like BSI Plus is using 32 signals. Each pixel contains significantly more spectral information compared to a traditional imaging system. For example, an RGB camera is looking at red, green, blue, 3 channels. BSI Plus is looking at 16 channels in that same visible spectrum. This moving image is showing the way that 3 signals are being combined together. So you have to try to understand, how does that look when you're combining 32 different channels together? So on this slide, you can see multiple products, and you see the way that we see them with the human eye. You see the individual almond kernel, you see hull, you see shell, you see insect damage, you see resin, and then contrast that to the way that the machine sees it. Now on the next slide, you see how the AI algorithms translate that information into very simple and clear colors for you, the user, to understand. This simulation represents 43,000 pounds of almonds per hour. As you can see, all these small white dots are hard to distinguish from each other. But when we apply the object declustering, you can see the immediate separation between these objects. This is how the machine sees it. Then with the colors, this is how the machine will decluster the individual almonds with up to 90% plus effectiveness. Keep in mind, we're really pushing the limits here at 43,000 pounds an hour, and we would expect the performance to improve even further with slightly less throughput. So now that we've done the object processing, that allows us to use different types of rejection techniques. So what we can do is you can actually eject an almond in the center of the almond. For example, if you had a piece of insect damage and it's right at the tip of the almond, previous machines would look at that insect damage and they would target the insect damage. But if it's right at the tip of the almond, you might just spin it or miss it entirely. In this case, we can understand that that piece of insect damage is part of a larger object, and we can target the center of that object. It also gives you the option to reject the entire object, not just the center, but the whole thing. That's something that you would want to do for a piece of foreign material. So when talking about capacity, we have to talk about, how do we get this? How do we achieve this capacity? Well, you start with the way you feed the product. We have changed from an unbalanced shaker to an electromagnetic shaker. Why? An unbalanced shaker typically is using a higher stroke, low frequency. That means your product is jumping a little bit along the pan. That creates a little bit more tumbling as it rolls through the machine. Versus an EM shaker, we're using high frequency, low stroke, and this product is flowing almost like sand or almost like a liquid, and it's really creating a nice setup for this machine to be inspected in the perfect way. So now one of the most important things that we talk about when we talk about the smart ejection system, we are using a rear ejection system. What that means is that the ejector bar is behind the product as it flows down the chute. Now, why is that important? Well, it allows you to get much closer to the product. So you're only about 10 millimeters away from the ejector bar to the product. If you had a front ejection system, you would need to be more like 30 millimeters away, 3 times further. So why is that important? Well, when you eject the product, you have a cone of air that comes out. That cone gets larger as it gets further away. So when you can get closer to the product, that means you have a more targeted ejection, a more forceful ejection, a more powerful ejection. That's a much smaller ejection point. So the ejection that we have on the rear ejection is about the same size as a pencil eraser. Versus if you have the ejection on the front ejection, it's more like the size of a nickel. So you can imagine when we were looking at that image of object declustering and those almonds are very, very close to each other, if your ejection zone is the size of a nickel, you're probably going to knock out more than just the defect. This is why the rear ejection system is significantly lower in good and bad or collateral reject. This machine is angled everywhere. We wanted to reduce any bit of flat surface where you could have water or dust collect, which are typically your microbial hotspots. Further, this machine is an open frame structure, which means it's very easy to get inside and clean. Also, This is an integrated shaker, the shaker on top, which means you don't have extra legs on the floor, more floor space. All of that becomes easier to clean. You also have removable chutes and covers. Again, easy to clean. And you have a sliding ejection zone. This means you can literally slide the ejection bar out of the way, step into the machine, and clean those contact surfaces in a significantly reduced time that it would take with older machines. You also have an integrated nitrogen system, which means you don't have extra nitrogen tanks on the floor, other stuff that you always have to be keeping clean. TOMRA Act is our award-winning user interface. It's incredibly easy to use. It's very easy to simply see on your screen what are you rejecting and what are you accepting. And you can easily move product back and forth. So you can say, I don't want to reject chip and scratch, or I do want to reject chip and scratch. There are also multiple programs available for your different operators. So you can select to have an operator that can change the program, but nothing else. You can also have an operator be able to make adjustments to a program, so make it more sensitive, less sensitive, or you can have an operator that has the full range of being able to add new products, create new programs entirely. TOMRA's one-click classifier is one of the coolest things about this machine. As you go through the process, you'll first come to a screen that explains what it is. Then you'll go to grab an image. Third, you'll go to mark and classify the images. You see what it looks like with the AI filling it in. You're allowed to fine-tune it and focus on the aggressiveness, and then see what that final result will bring you. Now we're on to the TOMRA heartbeat. This is a really interesting way to visualize how well your machine is working. On this first slide, you see what it looks like when the machine is working exactly as it should be, all green lights. On the second slide, you'll see that this is what happens when there's a problem. So in this case, it says there's an issue with the BSI. The third slide, you can open up that issue and it'll give you more details. In this case, it says there's a problem with the lamp. And in the fourth slide, it'll tell you what you need to do. What are my next steps? How do I fix this? All of this helps keep your operation running smoothly, helps reduce your downtime, and when you do have downtime, it gets you back up and running quickly. So in our previous example, we saw what happens when you get an error code. So now let's say you call TOMRA service. They're able to pull up this screen so they know exactly what the error code was, and they know exactly what's going on with the machine. Even if you don't have remote access, you can just give them the error code and it tells them exactly what they need to know. This means that before a service tech is even on their way to your facility, they already know that they have the right parts that they're going to need. So TOMRA Insight is an incredible tool. It can show you all kinds of things from total throughput per hour, highlighting downtime, are you running too fast, are you running too slow, are your operators changing things? They can show you how is the product being spread across the machine. Is it equal across all the scan zones, which helps with capacity and accuracy? It can give you real-time QC information, number of pieces of shell, pieces of insect damage, anything you want to know as it's entering the information for every single nut, not just a representative sample. You can also have cascading machines one after the other to be able to tell you how well the machine before it was operating. From TOMRA Insight, you can also see the spare parts and reorder parts directly from the machine, helping to reduce overall downtime, knowing exactly what parts are required. You also have access to the information that's in our own system based on your machines. That means you know when was this machine last serviced, what were the parts that we needed last time, what are anything else that you want to know about your service history, it's all in there. So what about security with TOMRA Insight? Well, the data security is built on Microsoft Azure, which is the same level of security, the same platform as your Microsoft 365 accounts, which means all your company emails, presentations, spreadsheets. We made sure that we used the highest level of security for this platform. Well, it's incredibly difficult to get through everything that I want to discuss with this incredible new machine, and it's entirely impossible to do so in 20 minutes. However, we would like to invite you to come to our demo hall here in Sacramento, in person or virtually as you prefer, to get up close and personal to the new TOMRA 5C and see what it can specifically do for your operation. Our virtual demo setup has multiple cameras with the in-feed, the out-feed, the accept, the reject, and even the view from the engineer. We would love to have you join us. And remember, we are local and we are here for you. But thank you so much for your time today.